More lockdown, boredom, busting, photography. God's hot. Greetings all. Yeah, another lockdown slash a boredom, a busting of photography. Well, this one is more of a follow up to my last video. Link is up here. And just to sort of go over just a few things about how you can use this technique with a lot of other items and that as well. So I want to actually go over a little bit more in depth of how this works, and it's actually quite simple, because what you're doing is you're using a very soft light, but because you're doing long exposure, is you're giving your camera enough time to basically capture the image. So obviously you can't do this with anything that's fast moving or anything like that, because it's like 4 or 5 seconds. So, but you can really do this and it gets some brilliant effects, which we're going to show you with quite many items that you can find around your house. But there are a few rules and things that you need to follow to pull this off perfectly. Because obviously you need to make sure that obviously you're in a dark room. And this is to get the dark background, because if it's too bright, you're going to pick up your walls or the table, which is what we're going to try to avoid. And this is why in the last video, when we did the apple, this is what we used the fork for, and the glass was just to stabilize it, the fork was just to raise it up. But because the fork is below the apple, when you're shining the light is not hitting the fork, so the camera is not picking up the fork. And that's the principle that you've got to use whenever you're doing this technique. So you need to make sure, which I'll show you in a moment, that whatever it is that you don't want in the photograph is underneath the object. It's in the shadows, so you can't. It's there, but the camera don't pick it. It doesn't pick it up, and that is what you've got to remember when you're doing this shot. So when you're sent up, you'll see there are various things that you can use. I mean, I'll use a toilet roll, just a cardboard bit from the toilet roll shoved underneath the card, which I'll show you in a moment. So when you take this, you can't see it because it's underneath, and obviously you've got to make sure you keep the light on the top so that it stays in the shadow. It won't pick up. I did have to, you may have to do this a couple of times, because if you move the light too much, it can pick it up. And this is why I wanted to show you this, because if you was to use a flash, it picks up a table because it's too bright. And that's what you want to try to avoid. So you need a really soft light for a long period of time, and then that's basically how it works. Now I know that in my last video I gave you a few settings to use. These are not set in stone, so don't sort of think, oh, that's the setting I've got to use. They're not that. They are just a guide. And the thing is when I did that last one with the apple, I actually took about 20 photos and looked through and found the setting that was ideal for that particular shot. So those settings are not set in stone, just use them as a guide, which is basically what I started with when I did this one, was I used it as a bit of a guide, and then the original settings didn't actually stay, because if I use the same settings, it didn't quite work with the toy car, which you're going to see in a moment. So I actually changed the settings slightly. Now the ISO was kept as low as possible. That's going to stay as 100. I changed the aperture. I changed that to f8, only one stop higher, but I decreased the shutter speed, so it was 5 seconds as opposed to 4. I found that worked, but then again, that was I took about 5 or 6 photos of different settings to get that shot. And that's one thing that you know, you need to sort of remember when doing creative things, is play around with the settings until you get the shot that you want. But look at what you're trying to achieve and make sure you're changing the right settings. So for example, on these particular ones, it's all about the shutter speed. So because you need to either increase the darkness or decrease it, just change the shutter speed to get that balance right. I'm not going to waffle on too much in this video, so I'm just going to go to show you how I'll set it up. I will show you. Oh, actually, I'll say basically I didn't do mobile phone with this one. This can be done with a mobile phone, as I showed you in the last one. So you can still do this with a mobile phone. But I'm going to use a Canon. I'm going to use it on a tripod. So you don't need to use a tripod. Balance on boxes. I showed that last video as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it really. The setting. Oh yeah, the lens. I use the 18-55 again. Purely just show that you can get some good results with a kit lens. And that's pretty much really it. So yeah, but I mean, if I just give you the base settings of what actually I used in the end on all of these, I found it was pretty good for all of them. Is ISO 100, f8, and it was, the cat's meowing, wants to go out, and a 5-second shutter speed. So, without further ado, let's get it all set up, and I will show you the pictures we took. there we go, guys. Yeah, basically just a plant, toy car, and one of the dolls that you've probably seen in many of my videos because they always appear in the background somewhere. Um, so yeah, it's quite enjoyable to do, and it can take a lot of time, which is, you know, why I actually come back to this, because doing the Apple one, I mean, it took a good hour of playing around, and doing this, I mean, that's just took, I don't know, look at me, my watch is over there. You know, that took a couple of hours to do, and yeah, it's good fun, and I like experimenting with that sort of things. So don't feel afraid to experiment, and you know, and don't always think as well that, you know, your images are rubbish or anything like this, because it's not that. Because you know, photography is not easy. It's a massive learning curve, and to be fair, I'm still learning, but I enjoy doing it, and I like sharing it. And so yeah, I also want to give a big thanks to John for the mention in his video that he did the other week. Brilliant results, mate. Don't give up, because they're really good, really good. So cheers for the mention. So yeah, I've actually really enjoyed this. I've got some more these busting things coming up. One of them I've actually been practicing a couple of times just to make sure I get it right, and it's really good fun, and it's another quite simple one that you can do on a mobile phone and that as well, and I'm really looking forward to videoing this one to get it out to you. So oh yeah, look, it's like my t-shirt though. My logo, yeah. Yes, came the other day. I know, sad really, but I wanted to do that. And oh, it says on the back as well, look, it says, look, smile, you might be on camera. Yeah, I just wanted to do a personal shirt, so I just did this one, which is quite nice really. It's a bit cold in this weather, I should have done the hoodie, but maybe for next year. Anyway, cheers for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to leave us a like, and I'll do a load more of these as well. Don't forget, if you want to share your images, share them with me. I'll whack them in my videos for everybody else to see. And yeah, all good fun. Cheers for watching, guys. See you again soon.